All right, free radicals, welcome back. My name is Dave, and this is the Radical Independent. Today we've got two really disturbing stories from Politico. Typically, I don't do videos over the weekend on my political channel, but waking up and getting over to Twitter and seeing what's going on over there, the Tulsi Gabbard supporters are starting to throw their hands into the air. It's not that we're mad at Tulsi Gabbard. But some of us, this idea where Tulsi says we, the people, can overcome this stuff, it's one of her answers to the question of how are you going to defeat your own party? How are you going to beat this duopoly? How are you going to go up against the military-industrial complex? And if you can't find a way to achieve victory in your own party, again, Tulsi, I would say to you, you need to, despite what Hillary Clinton has already said, I know it would drive people crazy, but you need to go around them. Going around means either going green or libertarian or independent or something. Anything. Jill Stein has said numerous times that she wishes that you were in the Green Party. So I know talking about this stuff isn't popular, doesn't get me a lot of views, because I'm not saying, gee, let's just steamroll the DNC. You're not going to steamroll the DNC. There are more people in the DNC who are corporatists, who are just like the Republican Party, who believe that their big donors come first. Example number one. DNC overhauls debate requirements, opening the door for Bloomberg. Now, I think the only caveat we had going for us was that Bloomberg was not going to be on the debate stage. This opens the door for Bloomberg, who, by the way, nationally, last week was polling fourth. Okay? And I warned people when he got in, more so on Twitter than videos here. I was talking a lot about Tom Steyer, who is also doing a lot of damage. And he's even duping some progressives into thinking, oh, he's my number three. I was just like, oh my gosh, dude. I mean, I had a lot of respect for the guy who said that, but then I lost a lot of respect because I just, the guy made his money in the coal industry, and you're going to tell me that he's going to be a radical environmentalist and he's going to do things to help climate change or stop climate change? Sure. I'm not there. The evidence isn't there. Tulsi Gabbard has spent her whole life, she's on the beach picking up trash when she's a teenager. This guy has been propping up the coal industry. You know, I just look at life experiences and I draw conclusions that are fairly easy to make and practical. So Bloomberg, let's read a little bit of this story from Politico, Politico, by the way, likes to be the bad news to us place. I've noticed that articles from Politico typically make me really angry. The Democratic National Committee is drastically revising its criteria to participate in primary debates after New Hampshire doubling the polling threshold, so bye Tulsi, and eliminating the individual donor requirement. Hello, Michael Bloomberg. So Bloomberg, polling fourth, will now also get to shop his platitudes. And again, here's another guy. Oh, I'm for shutting the coal industry down. I'm for doing this. And he's got no plans, by the way. Once he shuts the coal industry down, he has no plans to help those people find employment. You'll have to fend for yourselves. You'll have to move to another place in the country and then learn a new trade or do something. But this is the thing. You're just continuing this hollowing out of the working class. Anyway, candidates will need to earn at least 10% in 4 polls released from January 15th to February 18th, or 12% in 2 polls conducted in Nevada or South Carolina. The only thing that could get Tulsi Gabbard on the debate stage is that any candidate who earns at least 1 delegate to the national convention in either Iowa or New Hampshire will also qualify for the Nevada debate. So I'm thinking Tulsi in New Hampshire is probably going to pull a delegate, at least one. And I think that might get her into the debate. All right. It's this entire process to me is feeling more and more rigged. The fact that Bloomberg is going to get on the debate stage and literally bought himself into this race with an advertising blitz that I've never seen before. It's unprecedented. The guy has billions of dollars that he can literally throw away if he wants to. And he's decided to throw it away. And by the way, I think Michael Bloomberg is your direct link to Hillary Clinton currently. I think she wanted a woman. She wanted like an Amy Klobuchar. But she'd be willing to latch on to Michael Bloomberg. And what I mean by that is not only in an advisory role, but Bloomberg Clinton 2020. I mean, that to me, that's the obvious choice of Michael Bloomberg, is to bring Hillary Clinton back so they can avenge the Trump loss, which is so bad for the country and so wrong in so many different ways. This is just a soap opera. It's just reality TV. It has nothing to do with people who can't afford their health insurance. Bloomberg, for instance, on this is, hey, I want people to have affordable insurance. Bernie Sanders and Tulsi Gabbard are like, you know what? We'd like people to have free health insurance. Impose a VAT tax, all right? Impose it on people, whatever. Find a tax for people making $100,000 a year or more or something. There's a way to pay for health care. Not just lowering costs, because you're still going to have deductibles and premiums. I just don't buy into this halfway solution, which, again, he's talking in ads about Obamacare. I'm not even going to keep discussing Bloomberg because he's a waste of my time. Now, this article, DNC members discuss rules change to stop Sanders at convention. Holy crap. Now, if you read through the article, okay, they're having discussions about it, and the reason this gets in the news media, gets into Politico, is because the DNC establishment wants to put Bernie Sanders on notice. And they're basically saying, we see your polling, we see how well you're doing in New Hampshire and Iowa, and now even nationally. There are a couple of polls that have been done nationally that have put Bernie ahead of Joe Biden for the first time. Biden is just a blank slate out there, pushing people, and his rallies aren't very well attended. I'm not even sure he wants to be president at this point. He's a tired old man, and he needs to just go back and enjoy the rest of his life. Anyway, here's how this story shapes up. A small group of DNC members have privately begun gauging support for a plan to potentially weaken Bernie Sanders' presidential campaign and head off a brokered convention. Awesome. Okay. Anybody out there still think that you can do this, you can do radical change? Again, gonna quote Jill Stein for the 1000th time here, is that you can't have a revolution in a counter-revolutionary party. This party isn't about revolution. It's about the status quo. It's about our team is better than the other team. The blue team is better than the red team. At the end of the day, we all pretty much slap our backs, and if the red team wins, we just make sure that they do some stuff that keeps the elites in the blue team happy and vice versa. And that's what happens. And meanwhile, there's no systemic change for those of us in the working class. In conversations on the sidelines of a DNC executed committee meeting and in telephone calls and texts in recent days, about a half dozen members have discussed the possibility of a policy reversal to ensure that so-called superdelegates can vote on the first ballot. Now remember, this was the big deal that they changed this rule. Now they're trying to change it back. Such a move would increase the influence of DNC members, members of Congress, and other top party officials who now must wait until the second ballot to have their say if the convention is contested. Now, Jimmy Dore on his show had a list, a who's who, of all these DNC delegates, super delegates, and people involved with the convention. And it basically reads like a who's who of neoliberal, warmongering, basically moderate Mitt Romney-style Republicans. That's what that boils down to. And folks, I've been telling you this for months. I've been on this since I started the channel. And now we're starting to see stuff actually occurring in front of us. Now, if you're a Tulsi Gabbard fan, right now you're throwing your hands into the air because Tulsi, at her town hall meetings, and it's the right thing to say. I'm not criticizing her for saying it, but she says, you know what, we the people, we can rise up and overtake this. No, this is about money. This isn't about us. I mean, this whole thing here, that's about money. This here is about power and really influence that is purchased at the DNC. You want to be part of the DNC, you want to be a big player, then, you need to be a hedge fund manager. Tom Steyer, who's also another guy who's a billionaire, he made his money in the coal industry, and now he's trying to tell everybody that he is a climate change activist. This guy, too, former Republican, blue blood country club Republican. He's moved his way into the DNC, and you know what? He's a blue blood country club Democrat. I mean, it's two sides of the same coin. This is a disaster for democracy, because there is no democracy if you've got both. I would say this about the RNC. The RNC, Trump got through the RNC. RNC, they kind of stood down a little bit. They were like, okay, this is what the people want. This is what the people are going to get. And yeah, they've had, never Trumpers, and but this is a lot worse because they feel as though they cannot compete with the Republicans if they nominate Bernie Sanders or Tulsi Gabbard. And I got a lot of problems with Bernie, and I told you that even with Bernie this is why Bernie should never capitulate to these people. He should never, ever say, you know what, we're going to try to go along to get along. I'll play the neoliberal game with the Russiagate stuff and with the impeachment stuff. That's a waste of time. How great is Tulsi Gabbard's vote right now on impeachment on the eve of an acquittal? Because it's going to happen, and everybody knew it was going to happen. I don't know, this was supposed to weaken Trump. It was just a dog and pony show. I've been telling people this for months and months and months. So, if you believe in democracy right now, and you believe that your vote matters, you're delusional. You're delusional. And I'm delusional too, because I'm falling for it too. I'm saying I'd rather take my one little vote and go outside this two-party system and protest. And I tell you what, if Bernie and Tulsi are both shut out of this, in the fall, we better be marching in lockstep, either to the Green Party, which I think is the better of the two, or the Libertarian Party, and we don't care who that person really is, what their name is on the ballot, and I hate to say it like this, but I'm at a point where a protest vote needs to be something so significant, and you'll say, well, that might get Trump reelected. So be it. So be it. And you'll have 4 years to regroup and to try to put together another movement outside of this duopoly. And I'm sorry, I mean, I've survived the 4 years. Some people won't. I get it. Some people won't survive it. But imagine if you get a neoliberal like this guy running the war machine. He would be running that war machine 24/7. Venezuela, we'd still be talking about all of these wars that at least Trump has a little bit put the brakes on. So I don't see how putting Bloomberg there is any better. I don't think your military budget will go down. And by the way, yeah, Trump's military budget is bloated and ridiculous and gets bigger and bigger. but at least his instincts, I've been hearing more and more how this whole impeachment thing, I think it was Kim Iverson talking about this, may have just been some insiders that didn't like Trump's views on less intervention. Can you imagine that? What will they do to Bernie or Tulsi Gabbard? I mean, Trump is mild. Trump is starting to play along. He's got Pompeo. They wanted Pence to be president because Pence will sign off on everything. And so will Bloomberg, and so will Biden, and so will Buttigieg, and so will Klobuchar. You can go down the list. The only two that won't, and the only one I know for sure won't, is Tulsi Gabbard. Bernie, if you twist his arm, he might go there, just so he can get his domestic agenda going. And then they're going to shut him out there too. So folks, this is groundbreaking, earth-shattering, but guess what? You could see this coming a mile away, and you could have seen this from 2017 or 2016. You could have seen this and its repeat performance. They really don't care about us. And when I say that, I mean neither party establishment cares about us. And I'm willing to be all fringy and weird and go green or go DSA or go something just to see change, systemic change, and to see, small little grenades, not literal ones, not literal, figurative ones tossed into the political process, because they're not listening. They're not listening. And I condemn anyone who wants to, quote unquote, blow things up. I condemn that. But here's the thing. If they're rigging it, and we know they're rigging it, that angst, that outrage is for real. And by doing what they're doing, they're actually risking violence. They're actually inciting people who can see what they're doing. So, I know, kind of long video here, but really important stuff. You need to watch this video. I don't know if this video is going to be monetized. I may upload this video to both platforms. We'll see what happens on YouTube. Because if it goes south on YouTube, it'll be over on Rockfin as well. I need your support to keep doing this. It is discouraging when your videos are being demonetized and you're making $3 or $4 a day doing videos. So, just want to throw that out there. I will try to remember to put my email address in the description of this video. Until I do this again, take care, have a great weekend.